Welcome to another episode of the Mia Local Poultry Farm, where we get to answer all your questions right here at Mia Local Poultry Farms, found in Chenjojo District along Fort Potro Road on 0705 958 172. Okay, call us if you need 1 day old chicks, 1 month old chicks, those eggs that are fertilized. If you need to go and hatch them, please just call us. Don't forget that we only and only deal in a local poultry. Okay, today we're going to have a little bit of a different video compared to the videos we have been having every day, but still I insist, don't forget that our expertise, our experience stops and only stops at local poultry. Yes, we know a little bit of the broilers, we know a little bit of the Kuroilers, the sasso, the layers, those exotic breeds, but we stick to the local poultry. We believe through local poultry farming you can make a difference. Okay, now today's video, someone wants us to compare. Okay, it's the first and the last time we are doing such a video for you guys, so get your pen, get your books, let us study. It's going to be a little long compared to the videos we have been doing every day, but it's important that we get to understand these things. Now, many of you, when you are starting up your farms, when you're starting your poultry business, you tend to have so many choices that you need to choose from. Some of you get lost in taking choices. So what are we going to look at today? We are going to look at the different types of poultry, okay, the different types of chicken, and then we are going to see why you'd go for one and leave the rest. Okay, don't forget, we always tell you that don't do everything. Just pick out what you think you can do best and leave the rest for others. You cannot do everything. You cannot have the broilers, the layers, the local, the Kuroilers, the sasso. You cannot rear everything at your farm, otherwise you'll not get anything from them. Okay, it's like you have a commercial farm and you want to do goats, you want to do sheep, you want to do cattle, you want to do chickens, you want to do fish, you want to have turkeys, you want to have everything at your farm, ducks and what have you, then you may not achieve much. That kind of farming, it's better for that person who is not doing it commercially or who is not doing at a large scale. You have about maybe 20 ducks, you have like 20 hens, maybe 3 goats or 5, and maybe 2 cows. Then that's not the commercial I'm talking about. Okay, so here I'm talking about someone who is joining this business, who is starting up this farm at large scale. Now, without wasting a lot of time, first of all, whenever you think about starting up a local poultry, whenever you start thinking about joining poultry farming, okay, just draw for me a table. Right now I'm not in class, I will not draw this table for you, but I'll try to make everything as easy as possible. Now, whenever you even start thinking of joining poultry, what do I want you to do for me? Just get a table and draw. Okay, you draw into 3 sections. Now, in the first section, you put there eggs. In the second section, let's put there meat. And in the third one, let's put a dual purpose. Now, what do I mean by these 3 things? The eggs, the meat, and the dual purpose. What do you want to achieve, okay, after rearing these birds? Do you want to sell meat? By selling meat, I mean, do you want to sell them for eating? Do you want to sell eggs to your clients, or you want to be selling both? Now, these are the questions you need to ask yourselves even before thinking of booking any particular type of birds. Now, what do I mean when I talk of meat, eggs, and dual purpose? Now, they are those birds. I'll give you an example. uh, there is a type of bird called broilers. Now, some of you say these birds are reared for meat, but I don't want to think like that, because if these birds are reared for meat, what about the layers? When it becomes an off layer, do you throw it away or you eat it as meat? So let's not have that kind of thinking that this bird is for meat. No, you can eat any bird. It can be a layer, it can be a broiler, at whatever stage you want. But they are those birds now, they are those birds we call the short-term contract birds. Okay? Now, when we are looking for meat, in most cases, you want to go in for the birds that are short-term. Now, for example, the broilers. Now, why do we call it a short-term bird? It's like a short contract. What do I mean by this? When you go in for the broilers, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, you want these broilers to be out of your chicken house. Okay? Guys, 5 weeks is just 1 month and 1 week. So those are 5 weeks. Now, if you look at a broiler of 5 weeks, it's ready to hit the market. But some of you prefer having them maybe for another 1 or 2 weeks so that you can increase the money that you're selling them. Don't forget that this broiler, the more it stays at your chicken house, the more it stays at your farm, it's consuming, it keeps doubling. Every week it doubles what it consumes, because every week it goes bigger and bigger and bigger, and all it does is to feed, drink water, sleep, poop and sleep. That is all it does. It doesn't run around. Why don't we leave it run around? Because if it runs around, then it's going to do some a little bit of exercise and it's going to drop its weight. So even when we're constructing these houses, we like constructing it in such a way that we don't give it too much room to run away there and there looking for the feeds. We like doing it or rearing them in a place where it can just stay in one place, feed, drink, poop, and sleep just in the same area. So it's not losing any weight, it's not doing any exercise. And its kind of feeds are made in a special way whereby it keeps multiplying weight each and every day. Now, unlike the other type of birds, now when you choose to do broilers, then please make sure when you put in broilers in your chicken house, you are ready to hit the market, let's say, in some of them even start, some of the people who rear broilers, they even start selling them at 3.5 months, 4 months, 5 months. They are picking in these big ones and they are giving them to the boys that roast on the road. So those are what we call the short-term contract chickens. It's just like a contract. You are rearing these birds and at a certain time they need to leave your chicken house, whether you want or not. Okay? Because the more you keep them there, the more they are going to consume more feeds, and feeds is money, guys. The more feeds you put in, the more money you are splashing into this chicken business. By the time you are selling, you are not making any profits because you put in too much feeds. So that is a short-term contract chicken. You bring it at your farm knowing at such and such a date, I should have sold all of them. Now, those are the broilers. Now, let's go to the second type, the layers. Let's understand the layers and let's understand how we rear them, why we rear them, and what exactly they do. Now, the layers, actually the layers and the locals, these are what we call the long-term contract. But before we go to the long-term contract, let's look at the mid-term contract. Okay, we have looked at the short-term contract and we said those are the broilers. Now, what are the mid-term contract? Now, the mid-term contract are Kuroilers. Okay, I told you we're going to look at 4 types. We're going to look at the broilers, the layers, the Kuroilers, and the local. And then at the end, we shall see which is the best breed to go with. Okay, now, for the Kuroilers, we term them as the mid-term contract. Now, the Kuroiler, if you are rearing Kuroilers at your farm, make sure, please, by 4 months they are leaving. Okay, there is no reason why you should keep Kuroilers for 7 months at your farm. Okay, why? Because we also add them to the meat section. Okay, there are very few people I see rearing Kuroilers to hatch them. Yes, you can hatch them just like the locals, but you'll find that 70 or 80% of the people who rear Kuroilers want them to go to the market for consumption. Now, we looked at the short-term contract, that is the broiler, the mid-term contract, that is the Kuroiler. Okay, we said between 3 and 4 months. If you are rearing them for meat, please make sure they have all left your chicken house. Okay, now that takes me back to what you want as a person. Do you want to rear these birds for a short term and get your money, or you want to rear them for a very long term and you get more money? Don't forget, the more you keep these birds at your farm, the more money you're going to get, because in the long-term contracts, that's where we put the layers and the locals. Now, these are going to be giving you money each and every day. Now, it's going to be hard for you to get money from broilers each and every day. Why? Because assuming you have 100 birds, which are broilers, okay? Now, if you say they are 5 months or 6 months and you want to sell them, and someone is buying 5, another day they buy 3, another day they buy 2, another day they buy 1, the other day they buy 10, then you're going to make a loss. Why? Because every time you are keeping them there, you are buying more feeds. So today you'll sell 3, and then that money that you have sold the 3 birds, you're going to use it to buy more feed to feed the remaining birds. Now tomorrow you sell 5, that money that would have been a profit, you use it again to feed the remaining birds. So by the time you're finishing these birds out of your chicken house, you have not made any profit. So that's why I say they are short term. When the time for selling them reaches, please make sure you have the market and send them away. Better you send them at once so that you don't keep putting in more feed. Okay, now that I had taken you back, let's come back now. We are looking at the layers. We said the layers and the locals are the long-term contract. Why? Because if we start with the layers, if you rear them, just expect to start earning your first shilling after I think about 28 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So that is the thing, about 6 months. So when you rear the layers, you're going to wait for a very long time without getting any money out of them. Okay, that's why we term them the long contract birds. Okay, now just be ready that you're going to rear these birds. The first month there is no profit. You're just putting in feeds, water, medication, vaccination, each and everything. Second month there is no coin. Okay, third month still you're not getting any money. Fourth month there is nothing. Fifth month, sixth month, I think this is when you'll start getting like if you have like 100 birds, you get like 2 eggs. Then maybe you come after 3 days, you find like 5 eggs. Then the other day they will not lay. Okay, now be ready if you're rearing these birds that you are going to spend a very long time without getting a coin, without getting a shilling from them. Okay, but the advantage with them over the layers, over the broilers, is that when you rear the layers and when they start giving you eggs, they are going to splash these eggs, lay these eggs like a machine. Okay, now each and every day you're going to be collecting eggs. I think for the next 2 years and about 2 months, you're going to be picking eggs and you are selling them and you're earning money each and every day. Unlike the layers where you have to sell them at once, okay, and get that small profit. Now here you're going to be collecting eggs for more than 2 years. Now imagine you are getting money for 2 years, but don't forget that you suffered in the 6 months when they were not laying. Now 2 years you are picking money each and every day. Now those are the long-term birds. So when we talk of the long-term birds, those are some of the long-term birds we are talking about. Now, lastly, let's look at the locals. Now, the locals as layers are the same long-term birds. Now, one reason you should choose locals over layers. The locals have the same characteristics with the layers. The only difference with the locals is they don't lay as many eggs as the layers. Okay? That is the only difference. When you have the locals, they can lay their eggs at a percentage of about 70%, but for the layers, they will lay at a percentage of, let's say, 90%. Now, what's the difference when you talk of the percentages? When you have the locals, let's assume you have 100 local birds, the hens, they are going to give you about 70 eggs, 75 eggs. Okay? Now, if they're giving you 70 eggs, or let's assume 60 something, those are like 2 trays and a few eggs. Unlike the layers, when they are splashing these eggs and they are laying at a percentage of, let's say, 90%, that means you're going to be collecting, let's say, 3 trays. But now, where is the difference? Why do I say that, please, go with the locals? Because someone will ask, if they're giving you very few eggs, then why do I need to go for those? Why don't I go for the layers? Now, like I told you, I'm not here to bring down any breed or any birds, and whatever I'm telling you is strictly and basically out of my experience. Now, at the local, when you're dealing with the local birds, first of all, when they reach the time for laying, there is one thing I want you to do for me. Get some male birds. For every 8 to 10 hens, put in 1 cock. So if you have 100 hens, please put in 10 cocks. Okay? Why do we need to put in these cocks? So that we can get fertilized eggs. Now, when we get fertilized eggs, where is the advantage? You're going to sell these eggs as fertilized eggs. Remember, the person who is doing layers cannot fertilize his eggs. What do I mean by fertilizing? When you fertilize an egg, that means someone has the capability or the capacity to hatch a young one. That means when you get locals, you are able to hatch 1-day-old chicks. Okay, you are able to sell them as fertilized eggs, and each fertilized egg is sold not less than 1,000 shillings. Now, the layers, you're going to be selling these eggs at about 300 shillings, 350 shillings. Okay? Now, for the fertilized, even if someone is taking many of them, you're going to sell them at 1,000, or maybe let's say 900 shillings. So, I will be collecting 70 eggs, you'll be collecting 90 eggs, but in the long run, I'll be getting more money out of them. Secondly, why I always insist that please go for the locals is because you can hatch out the 1-day-old. Now, 1-day-old at Mia Local Poultry Farm, we are so excited that we are selling it. We are actually the cheapest. We sell it at 3,000 shillings. Others sell 35. I don't care. It's their business, okay? We sell at 3,000, and that means each egg, when you hatch it, it's going to be worth 3,000 shillings. Guys, the egg is moving from 350 shillings to 3,000 shillings. That is the second advantage. Now, still another advantage, when you come to Mia Local Poultry Farm, book your locals, take them, rear them for the 6 months, and you start getting eggs. These eggs as well, okay, listen very carefully. You can hatch these eggs, you can hatch them, you get the 1-day-old chicks and say, I'm not going to sell them as 1-day-old chicks. I'm going to brood them and sell them at 1 month. Guys, this is where we are making a lot of money. When you decide to sell these chicks as 1 month, then you're going to, because each chick you're going to sell it between 10,000 and 9,000 shillings. That means the egg, you have given it value to sell it from 350,000, from 350 shillings, where the layers guy is selling it, and you are selling yours at 9,000 shillings. Guys, this is where we make a lot of money. That's why I always tell you, please, come to Mia Local Poultry Farm, go through the series of training, get to understand this chicken business, and you will benefit out of it. When you go and watch more, because there's a lot of information on YouTube. Even here we are giving information, and then from this information you decide to start without getting this knowledge, without getting this experience, without getting this training, then this is where you mess up, because these things, no one is going to tell you these things. So when you come for farm training, this is where you're going to learn that, okay, I can make so much profits from the very little birds, and I succeed, I make a lot of money. So this is where the difference comes in. You can have 1,000 locals. I mean, you can have 1,000 layers, and they will have only 200 female locals. Okay? I'll be getting about 150 eggs, and you'll be getting about 900 eggs each and every day. But in the long run, I can make more money out of you. And yet, I'm feeding only 200 birds. Don't forget that each chick, you need to feed it separately. What do I mean by this? When you are counting how much feeds you need to give your birds, each adult chick consumes 120 grams. That means if you have about 10 birds, or if you have about 100 birds, you're going to give it 12 kilograms. Now, if you have 200 birds, you're going to feed them 24 kilograms. But unlike the person with the layers, I'm not saying layers are bad. They are very good. Guys are making so much abnormal profits from them. But unlike that, if you have 1,000 birds, you need to feed 120 kilograms. Here I'm feeding only 24 kilograms, and you are feeding 120 kilograms per day. Now, I'm making so much money, I'm feeding less. These birds, when they get sick, I will tell you, guys, this comes with experience. Find the local birds dying, then you are either it's you who has a problem in your mind, okay, or you are keeping the boys at the farm and you're a telephone farmer, because by the time these birds die, they have shown you enough signs that, guys, we need medicine, we need this, we need that, okay? So if you don't do it, then of course they will die, because they are not immortal, they can die. So they will give you a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance. Before it dies, then you are the one to blame, compared to the breeds like the Broilers, like the Kuroilers, whereby you wake up in the morning, 2 are dead, 3 are dead, 1 is dead. So that's not how it is with the local birds. These birds are a little bit more immune compared to the rest of the birds. So like I tell you guys, like I have been telling you, this is out of experience. You're not going to read it anywhere, but come to me, a local poultry farm, if you need to prove this, if you need to learn more, if you need farm training, if you need to get the farm tours, look at the different birds we are talking about, look at the different brooders. I tell you, at me, a local poultry farm, each and every day we have 6 brooders, okay? And each and every week we are releasing some chicks to go to the market, and that's where the money is. I know it has been a long video. I'm very sure you have learned something. If you're not a subscriber, please take 2 seconds to click that subscription button. Click the bell notification button so that every time we load a new video, you are among the first people to watch it. But for now, just to remind you, we are found in Chenjojo district along Fort Poultry Road on 0705 958 172. Me, a local poultry farm. Keep it locked. Bye-bye.